Hi there, and welcome to a quick recording on Dynamics 365. My name's Angela Wilson, and I'm here to just give you a bit of a run through of the new features that are available and some things to get used to in the new version of AX 2012 as we know it. Audience for this is anyone who's been using AX 2012 and upgrading to Dynamics 365. So what are we going to cover in this session? I've just got a bit of a list here that we're going to run through. So I have how to log in, a bit on navigation, all about workspaces, and then the new look and feel of Windows. This is really going to be the biggest change for a lot of us of what to get used to. So I am going to run through what a sales order will look like in this new version, and a couple of other key pointers about navigating through with this new look and feel. Then I'm going to cover searching, how to export, and how to filter in the new world, and then just a little bit on personalizations. So first up, how to log in. So a new thing to get used to with logging into Dynamics 365 is that we're actually going to be given a URL. So for the purposes of this video, I've got a development box, so don't take any notice of the URL I've got here, but this is how we're going to access. We're going to open up Chrome and we're going to click on a link. You can see it's taken me to a Microsoft login page, so this will be your email address and your domain password. So we'll jump in, we'll put in our password that we put in every morning to start our computers and sign in. And this should work as a single sign-in basis, so you shouldn't need to sign in for the rest of the day if you're in the same browser. So you can see this test environment I'm recording this just after Christmas, so we've got a nice little message there. So that's the logging in. If we wanted to see what legal entity we're in, you can see up here we've got the familiar USFC. I can click on this and then it gives me a little drop down that I can change if I want it to be in Canada. So that's our little legal entity piece. And this finance and operations button here, this is our home. So this is how we'll get back. If you want to get back to this familiar screen every time, this is the magic button to press that will always be along the top. What else can we see here? This front page is actually a little bit different to what we're used to, obviously, because we were used to just being presented with a menu with a heap of items listed under that menu depending on what module we're on. Now we've got a date, and you can see this is the system date. So this is the date that all our transactions are going to be posted effective at. And then we've got what we call workspaces. So these workspaces are not actually just a menu item. I'll cover off on workspaces in a sec. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit more about the navigation. If you're not interested in using this workspace concept, then this little hamburger over here, see meat in the middle and the burger buns on either side, has what we are used to seeing with the modules. So you can see, yep, here's my accounts payable, accounts receivable, here's my cash, where's my cash there. You can see this is in alphabetical order, general ledger, and then travel all the way down the bottom here. So this is the familiar stuff. If I click on travel, then you can see up pops, expands out the all the familiar looking items. So we're still getting grouped by common and inquiries and reports and periodic. You can still minimize and maximize these as you like, and it'll remember what you've clicked on. So I might just expand out inquiries because I want to see order lines, and I'll expand out common. I don't want to see setup. So now I've just got this. So that's navigating in the old way using the hamburger. And if I wanted this to all go away, if I just click over here, it's gone. The other thing I wanted to show you on here is favorites. So this is really quick and simple. You can see at the moment I have no favorites, but if I hover, it's really important where your mouse is. So at the moment my mouse is just hovering over this name, but if I scroll to the right to this little star, see how it gets bold and it says add to favorites? So if I just left click on that, off it goes over here. So that's great. Order lines is another one I want to be on my favorites. So that just adds it down there. Another one I want to add to my favorites is trial balance. So I'll click on general ledger and you can see trial balance is here. I'll just click that one. And I might like a general journal as well. Now just take notice of the order here And if I click on General Journal, notice that this is alphabetical. And this is something that we aren't editing anymore. It just appears in that order and with those words. So we can't change the name of it anymore. Now, when I've clicked on General Ledger, you might have noticed that instead of just having all the menu items that we're used to, it's actually got the workspaces up the top. So anything that's linked, any workspace that's linked to a particular module will actually show up in here. So this might be a way to get used to what workspaces you like to use, is you might actually start here first and go, oh, actually, I do want to do general journal processing, as opposed to just clicking on general journals. And what I might do now is actually show you the difference between the two. So firstly, we'll go to the workspace. So if I just click on this, this is what a workspace looks like. Now, there's probably 3 sections to take notice of in a workspace. On the left, we've got the tiles here. So that's got some information and it's got categories. So it's really like a query, I guess, in that it's going, here's all what's not posted. Here's anything that's not posted of mine. So it's filtering for my username. So that's really giving you opportunities to get some information and a quick way to add a new journal as well. Then over here, we've got the list, which you can see it's called General Journals, and then it's got all the categories, and you can actually drill down, like toggle, I guess, between the different views to see the lists of what's available. So what's posted by myself in the current period is going to be blank because I haven't done any posting. But if I go on previous period, there's going to be heaps of stuff because that's all the journals. There we go. There's a heap of things to look at. So that's the list that we call it. And then if we go see more, then we'll have the ability to scroll down and look at more. Oh, please wait. So this is something new. We'll have to get used to that. This is actually taking me to the original view of the general journals. It's taking me out of the workspace. So you can see the workspace can do what it can do, but then if you want more information, it might take you to a different screen. So I'm just going to use the back button now, and you can see that's taking me back to the workspace. So we can use the back and forward buttons to navigate around. So this is the list component of the workspace. Then the third component is links. And over here on the right, per workspace, this is going to be customized. So because we're in General Journal, it's going to think, well, what else might I want to actually link to once I've finished doing a journal? Maybe I'd like to see the trial balance. Maybe I'd like to see other journals. Maybe I'd like to see an audit trail. And it's got some pertinent setup items as well. So really a workspace is designed so that you can spend a lot of time in that area and not have to navigate around too much because it's all at your fingertips. So really this is designed to make your life nice and easy. Right, I'm going to click on a different workspace now. I'm going to go to accounts receivable now, and you can see we've got customer invoicing and customer payments. So this might be something that we'll also use a customer payments workspace. Now you can see there's not a lot of unposted data, which is good. Everything's up to date. But if we did have things that weren't posted, they would show up with account here. And so you can see there's a few different views on how these little tiles can present based on what we'd like to see. So we've got payments that aren't settled yet. There'll be a list here. No, it's blank. Find transactions, invoices past due. So this is the only one that has any data in it at the moment. And then you can see related information. We've got reports here. So we've got customer agent report, which is really handy because that's probably something once you've finished settling customer transaction, you'd like to have a look at the aging to make sure everything's reflected properly. Right, so something I want to go through with you now is running a trial balance. Just to give you an idea of how things look a little bit different. So what we've got here is we've got our trial balance and we've got a date range. So I might just put in the 1st of December to the 30th of December. I just want the normal view, and I'm going to click on calculate balances here. Now, this is probably a key example of, I would have thought the run balances would be along the top here now, because this is something we have to get used to looking at this top screen. But there's a little thing there that lights up. So that's something that, isn't where you think it's going to be. And you just have to keep your eyes open and look around. So we've got our trial balance run now. And you can see what's happened now is we've got a little message up here saying operation completed and in blue. So we have, in the past, we would have had info log messages come up as a separate window. We can close this and it will go away. So that's a new way to get used to receiving messages. Now I'd like to show you how sales orders look different. So first thing, I might use my favorite. So let me just jump into, I'm just going to jump into this hub one. I'm going to click on this hyperlink so it takes it for me. And remember, it's not going to open up a new window, so I've got this window now replaced. And this is what a sales order looks like. So let me just hide this so you can see as much as we can on the screen. So we're on sales lines as a default view now. The header is there if we want to see it. So if we wanted to see the proper header, we'd click on this one over here. And this is the one that it would show what the booking channel is. And the setup, that could be where we have sales responsible, which is obviously the person. We also have whether it's pooled in this one. This one obviously isn't periodic, but that's where it would be if it was. Oops. That's the periodic settings. What else have we got? We've got financial dimensions. This is one that you'd be familiar with editing. So you can see this looks definitely a different look and feel. So if we wanted to close these views, we can just click on these little arrows. If we want to go back to lines, we'll click up here, back on lines. So one thing that's stayed the same is we've got green for invoiced, which is nice. I'm just going to fix up my column widths here so we can have a bit of a read of the sales order. So we've still got a little scroll where we can go right across and have a look at this booking. We've got our P&R over here on the right. So yep, this all looks familiar. Where's line details? Down here. So this is where we need to expand out. This is going to take a while to get used to. Everything, all the headings that were tabs down the bottom are now little bars here at the top. And you can see we've got a lot more rigidity in the way the columns are set up based on the new requirements that they've been given by Microsoft. So you can see when I am not on the flight res line, let me go on the JetBlue line. We've got our cost and sell, so we can still compare these side by side. We can see our margin and we can see final sell price. Now if I want to see credit card booking token, I have to click on this one and you can see this is a normal pass-through. So I could minimize this price one so I can see credit card on the same screen. But it is a lot different to what we're used to. So hopefully you guys have really big screens. I'm just on my laptop at the moment, so I'm doing a lot of scrolling up and down. If I wanted to see financial dimensions, click on that one, it shows up. Commission allocation, probably be 0. Yep, showing up as 0 for the OBT. These drop downs are all in the same place that we're used to seeing. If we wanted to look at some of this stuff, trailer archive is here. Change ticket attributes, that's what I was looking for, that's there. So things might be in a different order to what we're used to as well. This one, copy plus new, yep, copy from all, so copy from all is here now. Interestingly, if we clicked up here into the sales order, copy from all is still here as well. So there might be some new options in these drop downs that we're not used to seeing, like explode. Oh, I can't click on that, that's really sad. Can't wait to see what that means. Right, so that's a sales order, so that gives you a bit of an idea of what that's going to look like in the future. We've covered off on logging in, navigation, workspaces, had a look at these windows. Now I want to show you searching. So there's a couple of different ways to do some searching. this is my favorite one. Up here, I can just click on the magnifying thing right beside the legal entity. Notice I'm not going back to home or anything. You don't have to. You can just be where you are and then just start somewhere new. I'm going to type ticket. You can see all the options available for ticket for me come up. There's only one there. That's not very interesting. Let me type BSP. Let's see if more stuff comes up. I've got 3 things now for BSP. So depending on a keyword, you can, instead of using a hamburger, I can type a keyword here. And you can see what we have got is in the top, we've got the heading, but then underneath it actually gives you the navigation form, which that's probably something we're really good at because we were used to going the long way through things. So I know that this BSP calendar is under setup, so that's actually what I wanted to click on. So that's what I'll click on. And that presents me with the BSP calendar and it shows me what's closed and what's open. So if I scroll down, there we go. We're closed right up until that date. December's still open. That's searching, very easy. Click up here, start typing, and it does tell you where the navigation path, which is really handy. Now I want to show you a bit on exporting. So I'm just going to use this BSP art calendar as an example, and I'm going to export. So where is the export button? There's no Control T anymore, so we're going to have to get out of the habit of doing that. I think if we do Control T, let's see what happens. Oh look, it opens up a new tab. So if I want to export this, what I do is I use my mouse and I go over to this little window button and open in Office. So let me click on that. And it gives me some options. Export to Excel is my only option actually. So I'm going to click on that. And this does the equivalent of a Control T. Here's my little orange bar. So that's it. That's a little message there that's saying I've got a problem with this file. And it's saying, oh, you've got a slash in it, which I do. So as it stands, if I wanted to save this file, it wouldn't let me. So it's still going to let me download, I just can't save. So you can see also in there I had options. I'll just go back. No, I can't go back yet. To save to SharePoint and also to OneDrive. So there's a few other options there for collaboration. But for the moment, I'm just downloading. Okay, so here we go. Here's the art calendar exported to Excel. So it'll appear in that bottom bar down the bottom there. And you can see it's got the blue and white shading just like it did back when we used to just do Control T. So that's exporting to Excel. I'm going to use my home button just so I get in the habit of remembering which button takes me back to home. A nice Merry Christmas message. We've done searching, exporting, filtering. What better way to filter than use order lines? Plenty of data there. Let's open up that. So here we are, we've got all our order lines here. There's a few different ways we can filter things. The first one is right where my mouse is right now. My cursor's flashing filter. If you've got one thing that you've copied from somewhere, say I've got a ticket number, you can just paste that in that top one and pick the cell that it applies to. So I just need to scroll down until I get to ticket number, which is just here. You can click on that and it will do a filter for that ticket number and just show me those 2 sales lines. Happy days. If I want to do more than one filter though, because I'm drilling down to find information, not one particular thing, if I did a comma and then did this again, see how it doesn't work. So you can only do it for one filter. If I wanted to do multiple filters, there's 2 other ways. One is familiar to you, the other one is new. So this one here is this funnel. This would actually give you the ability to add a filter field. And I can search on multiple things, because what I can do is I can pick amount and then I can add a new filter field and I can add booking reference. So I could filter by a PNR and I could filter by an amount if I could pick all sorts of things and then apply that filter. So this is how you're doing multiple things. Because this isn't the greatest set up, like you've got to add it, you've got to scroll. I haven't found the way to actually type in here. You have to scroll. You can't, if I needed to search by ticket number, I can't do it. I can't, I'm typing here and nothing's happening. So this isn't great. I would use this if I want to filter on something that's not in my grid, because you can filter on the grid. So while I'm here, you'll notice that we've got little begins with, equal to, begins with, and there's actually a drop down that has is exactly, is not, and contains. So remember all those asterisks and exclamation marks we used to learn to do our filters? We don't need those anymore for this stuff because it's got the words beside it. Okay, so let me get rid of this funnel and show you searching on the grid. Firstly, I'm just going to reset my filter, so that'll take me back to all data. This is probably the one I think you'll use the most because it's pretty familiar with what we've done in the past. But basically, you're clicking on the headings. Anything that has a little drop down, you are able to filter by. So see how this item group, no drop down, but product category there is. So we're simply clicking on this. We'll go a dark color. Little thing will come up and we'll go, okay, we want this to be exactly, is not, is one, so we want it to be exactly. I'm going to say, let's make it flight TKT. Actually, let's look at ADMs. It's going to show me only ADMs. There we go. And I'd like to only see, I'm going to see, I can't filter on product name, but I can on product number. So I'm going to say is not American Airlines. Is not 001. So all the other airlines will show up. Okay, right. So now it's showing me all the other airlines. So we've got Delta and all the other stuff, so you can get a bit of an idea of how many there are. And you can see it says loading more data. So another thing different to, while it's in a window, in a browser, this view just extends down and down, but it runs differently to the way the application used to. Okay, so that's filtering on a grid, so you can add as many of those as you like, and when you're done, you can just click on Reset Filter, and that will return it back to the full list. The last one I wanted to show you was the advanced filter, which is the same as what we're used to in AX 2012, and it's just available under this Options button. The thing with advanced filter is that you can save your filters, and interestingly, when you put in your instructions, it's actually very similar to the old AX. So you can use the exclamation mark for doesn't contain. You can use the star, so you're typing in commands more so than the nice GUI format that we've got here. So if I just click on options, you'll see this shows up, and we can go advanced filter sort. So let me just click on that, and I'll bring up a thing over on the right here. You can save queries in advanced filter as well. So here's one I've previously done. I've got the little exclamation mark and I said I don't want to see EMDs. But if I did want to make more changes to this and save it, I can just click on the modifier and do save as, and then I can hit OK. So that advanced filter works the same as we're used to. Right, so the last thing that I wanted to cover in this video today is personalizations. Now with personalizations, they are a little bit different to what we're used to. They are still in the options section. You might have noticed them earlier when we were looking at advanced filter, but over here, personalize this form. So this is where you'll always look under options to personalize things. Rather than use order lines because it's got a really big table, I'm going to jump into all customers. So I'm just going to click on accounts receivable, all customers, and I'm going to have a look at the settle open transactions window. Now when I come along here and click on collect, there is something I wanted to draw to your attention along here. You might have noticed that in some instances there's been words in lowercase or upper and lowercase, and then other words just completely in uppercase. My observation of this is that all the uppercase ones are tabs that bring along an action pane that have items you can select. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're getting used to this new look and feel. So let's just click on Settle Transactions. Okay, great. Well, we get to see a little red arrow. So you've seen all versions of the warning notes now. You've seen all three colours. Now, after I've just finished telling you, you can click on options and you can personalise, I'm going to do something different. If you noticed, when I clicked on Settle Open Transactions, it actually hasn't replaced this full screen. You can still see a bit of my customers in the background. So this is a different view, and so I don't have the ability to click on options in this. But what I do have the ability to do is do a right click on the column heading. And in here you can see I've got a couple of options. I've got export all rows. So this could be an alternative to our, well actually, because also I don't have my little, my door here, I can't export. So when you right click, it gives you the opportunity to export this way. So I'm going to personalize. And then I get this little dialog box that comes up and it's asking me whether I want to hide this column, this cash discount date, skip it or edit it. Do you know what? I'm going to hide it, but that's actually not what I want to do. I want to personalize the entire form, not just this column. So I'm going to, oh, there you go. You just saw it do it in front of my eyes. I'm going to hit personalize this form and then I can mess around with the whole form. And you can see what it's done is it's brought up this little bar here, this black bar. So I'm going to hover over each of these so you can see what options you have. So then we've got a select button, we've got a move, so I'll probably use that. We've got hide, that's the hide one that I just used then, little eye. We've got a summary, we've got skip, edit, add, and then manage. And manage is quite helpful when we want to resettle our personalizations or export or import what you've got on the screen. So this might be something that you could export just before you have a release so that you can re-import your favorites afterwards. Because I'm in customers and I'm particularly in a ticket center customer, I'm just going to try and hit add here. I'm going to add ticket center statement date because that's something I use all the time. Right, so this one, because I can hover over this one, I can just do a little, I can do a left click and look for TC statement date, which I'm going to do. For whatever reason, it didn't like me clicking, so I'm going to scroll down and select statement date, and I'm going to invoice, insert. And it gives me this little blue message saying some of the fields required, select the form to be reloaded. That's a really good message to see because this is something that we're not used to reloading. I'm going to close this because that's the only thing I wanted to add, and I'm going to reload this page. Just the refresh button, so F5 would also work. Now, if I, it kicked me out, I'll have to go back in. If I look over here to the far right, I have got ticket center statement date now, and I don't want it to be there, I want to move it, so I'm just going to do this personalized form again. And I'm going to move. And to move, you just wait till your little cursor changes to a hand, and then you drag, see how it's going orange? And I'm going to put it beside due date and just let it go. So while it's orange, you can move it. So I'm just going to close that now, and that's personalized. It's that simple. So what have we covered today? We've gone through how to log in using a URL. We've talked about navigation and how you can use the hamburger, and you can use Workspaces. So we've talked about Workspaces and how they have tiles, lists, and links. And coming soon, you'll see some graphs as well, so we'll give information in a cool way. We've talked about the new look and feel of the windows, and you've seen it for yourself, how menu items look a bit different and how we've got uppercase and lowercase and how it might mean different things. Gone through what a sales order looks like now as well, how it looks different. And we've talked through searching and how that's a really powerful tool to just quickly get to places. We've shown you how to export to Excel using the button up in the top right, and also where that isn't available, you can just right click and export. Filtering, we've talked about 4 different ways to filter. We've used the quick filter, which is on the top there. We've talked about the funnel, and we've done the column filtering, and then we've done advanced filtering. And last but not least, we've just quickly run through how to do some personalizations. Now, something coming from my end is task guides, and that's something that will help you if you get stuck doing your day-to-day. It'll also be really good for newies because it's a new way to receive training information on how to do tasks. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.